You ever wake up to the sound of 30 drunk strangers banging on your Marina gate with crowbars at 6 in the morning, led by a woman who shrieks like a banshee and calls herself president of the HOA? Yeah, that was my Thursday. You might think I'm making this up, but I swear, you couldn't script this level of crazy. And you know what's worse? They all thought they had every right to be there, too. That gate I just installed, that common property, I was told I'd be arrested for protecting it. You could hear the steel clanging clear across the water, the sound slicing through the morning like a bad omen. Beer bottles bobbed around the marina like cheap party confetti from whatever disaster they called fun last night. The smell was something else. Part salt air, part stale beer, mostly entitlement and bad decisions. And there was Karen, blonde bob, phone in hand, waving it like she was about to summon the National Guard. She threatened to call the cops on a retired Coast Guard engineer, me, because I'd figured out she'd been running a fraud operation so big it should have had a ticker on Wall Street. Here's the kicker. She's screaming about common property at me, the only guy in the complex who'd just found out he actually owns the entire marina. If you've ever tangled with an HOA dictator who tried to steal your retirement, drop a comment, tell me where you're watching from, because this is one for the record books. My name's Garrett Thompson. 6 months ago, I bought my forever spot, a waterfront townhouse in Pelican Bay Marina Estates. 25 years enforcing maritime law for the Coast Guard, and I thought I'd won the retirement lottery. Quiet mornings, birds fishing off my dock, no work drama. The first morning was perfect. Osprey snagging breakfast from the water, salt and French roast in the air. 24 homes, each with a slip. The doc said limited common element. Lawyer talk for shared, but you get your own spot. Like a condo parking space. That was before I met the neighborhood vampire, Karen Whitmore. Imagine every HOA horror story you've ever read on Reddit, then poured into a body with a real estate license and an SUV that practically screams realtor. She'd been self-appointed HOA queen for 8 years, ran 3 rental units here, and had a crowd of social climbers so eager to please, she basically owned every vote. Clipboard in hand, she walked around with the power of Thor's hammer, ready to smite any peasant who questioned her. Her renters? Economic hostages. Vote how she says, or lose your lease. Month 2, Memorial Day weekend, I woke up to the sound of spring break on steroids. Karen was hosting a party. 30 guests, not just in her slip, but in everybody's. Beer bottles floated everywhere, dock cleats used as toilets, the smell of beer and 6 soaking into my dock. $400 of damage. Rope burns on my pilings, like she'd run the place through a hazing ritual. When I asked her to pay up, she butchered my name on purpose. Accidents happen, Gary. That's what insurance is for, right? I filed complaints, citing the HOA's own rules. Her answer? Claimed there was an emergency docking loophole and threatened to fine me for harassment. The next board meeting, she dismissed 8 solid complaints, announcing I had grumpy old man syndrome. Said some people just can't handle vibrant community living. That night, I started digging. Coast Guard types do that. Legal language, fine print. Turns out limited common element is a lot sharper than Karen realized, especially around marina rights. But Karen's biggest mistake? Her Marina Social Enhancement Initiative. Translation: surrender your dock rights, or face nonstop inspections and fines. She was out to break us, establish total control. She figured I was just a retiree who'd cave. She had no clue I'd spent years dealing with smugglers, pirates, and corrupt officials. Real sharks. Problem with bullies? They get sloppy when they think they've won. While Karen plotted her next yacht party, I was digging through HOA finances. Emergency assessments, maintenance fees, money was missing. Ever heard of limited common element trust law? Neither had Karen, but I was about to teach her. Paper trails are a Coast Guard specialty. Then came Karen's power move. New electronic gate, biometric locks, master codes controlled by her. Claimed it was to protect our investment. Sounded familiar from my days busting port security scams. Installation day was a circus. Karen, 2 contractors, the whole neighborhood gawking. Only legit residents got codes. And of course, my code malfunctioned every Friday to Sunday, just in time for her parties. That night, I pulled out my OLA books. Turns out, in Florida, you can't block an owner's access to their own limited common element without unanimous agreement. Karen didn't have that, so I installed a mechanical deadbolt, key to me, Coast Guard style. Now she couldn't touch my access without a court order. Friday, party night, Karen's convoy arrived. SUVs, booze, the usual crowd. They waved fobs, but my lock held. Karen freaked. "Open this gate," she shrieked. I strolled down, bourbon in hand, calm as you like. "Evening, Karen. Happy to unlock. Just show me the board resolution for tonight's event." Silence. Her jaw worked like she was chewing gum. "This is harassment," she snapped. "I'll inspect your unit." Looking forward to it. My attorney enjoys HOA inspections. Just like that, her party moved to the pool. 40 people crammed in, chaos and Instagram delays. Then, Dolores from Unit 14 knocked. Retired paralegal, usually quiet. She handed me an envelope. 3 years of Karen's financial misdeeds inside. "I've been collecting since she tried to find me for my cat," she whispered. Monday, Karen's lawyer demanded I remove my lock. Tuesday, my attorney fired back. Property law, federal. Wednesday, silence. By Friday, the party stopped. Osprey calls replaced drunken yelling. But Karen wasn't done. Her next play? Rental restrictions, banning short-term rentals, compatibility reviews for long-term, exemptions only for her units. Meeting scheduled during a hurricane watch. Half the owners evacuated. She counted illegal proxies, tenant votes, anything to ram it through. Dolores, bless her, knew the law. We recorded everything. My attorney confirmed Karen's move violated more statutes than a pirate radio. But as I dug deeper, I found something worse: embezzlement. Marina fund was down 40%, payments going to her family's fake companies. I went door to door, Coast Guard style, showing neighbors the proof. People hate being tricked more than they fear confrontation. Overnight, our coalition grew. Karen struck back. Fines for everyone who opposed her, selective enforcement of bogus violations. But I documented it all. Every planter, every doormat, every dock bumper. Equal treatment, that's the law. Our attorney offered class action, citing civil rights. The board panicked. Karen's grip started to crack. Her desperation went nuclear. Certified letters, urgent insurance crisis, pay $50,000 or lose coverage, all because of my lock. One phone call to the insurer blew that up. No threats, no complaints, just confusion. Dolores and I found Karen's brother-in-law held the policy, funneling money to her company. We went to the FBI. Fraud, wire transfers. This wasn't just HOA corruption anymore. It was federal. Suddenly, Karen's emergency disappeared. Then the criminal stupidity. Karen herself, bolt cutters in hand, caught by my security cameras, and hers, in full HD, trying to cut my lock. In the middle of the night. Her BMW, her license plate, everything. Watching her on camera, I felt, some satisfaction. But mostly I just felt sorry for a person who fell this far. The fallout was biblical. The board turned. Neighbors demanded audits. Media showed up. Karen tried to erase records, called in threats, left anonymous letters. It all backfired: federal evidence trails, IRS referrals, lawsuits. She even tried to bribe Dolores to destroy documents. Caught on tape, of course. But the twist of all twists? Buried deep in old documents, we found the truth. The Marina was never under HOA control. Every slip, individually deeded, managed by trust. And the successor trustee? Me. Karen had spent 8 years stealing from property she didn't even control. Every fee, every fine, every party, criminal theft. The scope was staggering. Racketeering, wire fraud, money laundering, and with me as legal trustee, triple damages on top. Our attorney team was a Coast Guard task force, property law, criminal, forensic accounting. We filed everything all at once. FBI, IRS, local prosecutors. The media told the world. Karen tried to dissolve the HOA, sell out the whole community, but she was finished. She even tried to hack the computers. Feds already had the records. The night of reckoning, packed community room, news crews, feds at the door. Karen opened with a speech blaming me for everything. When it was my turn, we dropped the receipts. 8 years of theft, fake companies, the trust documents proving I control the marina. Karen lost it, screaming, throwing papers. The feds read her the charges: wire fraud, racketeering, money laundering. Handcuffs, cameras rolling. The relief was real. Neighbors cheered, hugged, cried. The board resigned. Professional managers took over. The money came back, over $500,000 with interest and damages. Karen went to prison. The community finally healed. Looking back, I see the lesson clear as day. When people learn their rights and stick together, not even the most powerful bullies stand a chance. If you've ever faced an HOA nightmare, drop your story below. You're not alone. And remember, justice is possible. Sometimes it just takes a stubborn old Coast Guard guy with a lock, a camera, and the guts to call a bully's bluff. What would you have done in my place? Do you think all HOA presidents end up like Karen? Or did I just hit the crazy jackpot? Let's talk in the comments. Your turn.